Alright, so here are all the supplies that are needed to make a cloth pad. You have your cloth fabric right here, like a fleece-like material, something that's soft. Your template, it's called pull fabric, P-U-L, but basically you just need a fabric that is waterproof. You need your needle and thread, safety pins, marker, and pen, and your scissors. This is just an overview of all the tools that you will need, and next I will do a step-by-step process so that you understand each step of how to make a pad. Step 1, preparing the template. You will receive this template via email. It is not true to size, so you will also receive this template here. You cut out each individual piece, and this is what you will have. So your template will look like this once everything is cut out. This pad is for regular and postpartum, but today we are only going to focus on the regular length. And one thing I just want to point out is that this needs to be aligned with the dotted line when doing a regular pad. And so once you have your template, you can actually compare to what you received via email, and as you see, it will look like this. Alright, so step 2, we are placing, so the templates that you received, now they should be cut out, and we're going to place each piece on the cardboard pad. Believe that it's easier if each piece is kind of close to an edge, but as you kind of navigate through this process, you may find a way that is more the easiest for you. All right, so now that we have each piece on the cardboard, I'm going to actually take my marker here and hold on one moment and trace the template. And as you see, you just kind of go alongside this right here, and you follow this along. And normally, for time purposes, I'm only going to just do one, but what you would do is continue to go and trace every piece. So again, today we're making the regular pad, but if you are making a postpartum pad, you just push this down like that, and that will give you extra length for postpartum purposes. For now, we'll make the regular pad, and we'll continue to trace each and every piece. And once you have finished tracing the piece, this has already been done. Voila, this is what your template will look like. So we've traced every piece, we've cut it out, and you should have something like this before moving forward. The next step is we are going to cut out our pockets. What we want to do is follow the gray area, the gray shaded area here. This white part is not needed for your pocket, so you want to line your pocket template as close to the edge as possible. And again, you take the marker and you trace as it's been traced before, and you go around, and once you have finished tracing, you then cut out your pocket template. And once we are finished with the pocket template, it shall look like this. And then your shield, which is what we did the previous step, should look like this. So before we move forward, you should have 2 templates. One template for your shield, one template for your pocket. So next step is we're going to place our shield on our fabric. And again, just want to reiterate, make sure that this is cloth fabric. This is the best material for the tracing that we will have to do, as well as the cutting. So now that we have our shield on our fabric, we want to be able to conserve fabric. And so when you place your shield onto fabric, make sure that it is as close to the edge as possible, as you see right here. And again, you're going to take your marker and trace alongside of your template, as you see right here. So we'll start here and we'll trace and go around until we have if you can't see this, because I know it's kind of faint due to the fabric, but basically it is an outline on the fabric. And this is what we're going to follow when we are cutting out our template. So each pad needs 2. So you start right here for the first one. Again, we're conserving fabric. And then what you will want to do for your second piece of fabric is you will want to cut and place your template as close to what you had just traced. That way you're conserving fabric, and it's gonna actually be easier too for you to cut as well. So you'll take this, and again you trace. You use your marker and you trace around. You trace it around like this. And I also just want to let you know that these templates are slightly bigger, so you may have a little bit more fabric to work with, which is good because you want to have a little bit more. You can always adjust the size than not enough. All right, so now as you see, again, we have 2 templates, and this is actually enough for us to continue and making 1 pad. So next step, we're going to create pockets. You take your pocket template. So since we are very mindful of conserving fabric, the reason why is that we want to have mass production. So when placing the templates on the fabric, we want to always try to place as close to the edge as possible. But with our pocket fabric, we first want to fold this fabric, and we want to make sure that underneath it's smooth. So once we fold our fabric here, we place our template, and we want to place it as close to the edge as possible for this way, but also the edge going this way. All right, so as you see, this is going to be a little bit thicker because we have folded it, and we're going to take our marker first before cutting, and we're going to trace around just like this. All right, and then we'll take our scissors and we'll cut. And once you cut this template, as you'll see, you'll have 2, and we want to do, for 1 pad, we want to do the same process again. So take our pocket template, make sure it is close to the edge like this, and we trace like that. So therefore, when we take our scissors and we cut, we will have a total of 4 pieces, 2 for each pocket. So next step, we are going to cut out the fabric needed to go in between the cloth fabric. This fabric is called PUL, but actually the best thing that you would need for this is a waterproof fabric, and a heavy plastic bag can also work if you do not have a waterproof fabric. All right, so again, we take our shield template. All right, we're conserving fabric, so we're placing it as close to the edge as possible, and we are going to trace the template right alongside of here and go alongside of here and right around here. And we only need one piece of fabric since it's going in between the two cloth fabrics. So once we finish tracing, we remove our shield template and now we just cut. So next step, we are going to actually start making our pad. As you see here, we have each template already laid out for us with our fabric that we cut. And so this is the waterproof fabric. Again, if you need to use a plastic bag or a heavy plastic bag, that's perfectly fine. So we want to make this the first layer. Your waterproof fabric is the very first layer. Then we want to take another of our cloth templates and we lay it right with the waterproof fabric. As you see, you want to line up as closely as you are able to. And for the first layer of the cloth fabric, you want it the shiny side actually facing up. So on a fabric, there is a shiny side, there's a dull side. You want the shiny side facing up towards you. All right, so once you lay that right here, you then take the two pockets we have right here. See, they should still be nice and folded right here. And you want to place the pockets really congruent with the width. So as you see right here, does not fit. So you want to make sure that the pockets are placed actually in the shield that goes the longer way, not the wider way. And so you place your pockets here and you want your crease right here to actually be facing in. So I'm going to do the same thing for the next pocket. You take it right here, put your piece right here. And last, we have the other fabric that you cut. And this time, we actually want to use the dull side of the fabric. And we want to place it over our fabric and have it here. And the reason why it's very important that we use the dull versus the shiny side is because when we actually are pin this together and sew it, we're gonna flip it. So it's very important that you layer your pad correctly. All right, so to prepare for sewing, once you have all your layers together, you have here your safety pins. You wanna take the safety pins out and we're gonna place the safety pins around the pad so that it's sturdy, so that we're able to sew and the material is not moving. So this is optional because what it does is you can create an outline. If you see right here, I've already done that. This outline helps with your stitching. So you want to actually stitch about a ½ inch away from the end. If you see that I started the marker here and I don't want to go close to the edges, and that's simply because we want to create space so that when we stitch, our stitching is not close to the ends, and then when we're washing or walking or anything of that nature, when there's a lot of movement, that the stitching falls out. We want the pads to last for a very long time. So the most effective way is to create an outline and to have the outline pretty much be a guide. It doesn't need to be straight, but it's really used as a guide so that as you are sewing, you have a mark, something to follow for each of your stitching. So once you have pinned the layers together, done your outline, you are now ready to begin sewing your pad. I recommend, and the strongest stitch is the best, so I recommend a back stitch. Yet if you do not know how to do a back stitch, just know that you need a very, very strong stitch in order for the stitching and for this pad to be durable and sturdy. So the next step is, as you see, to begin sewing. We've already started, and again, a very, very strong stitch is what you need in order for this to last and for your pad not to become undone. So I've already started here with doing a back stitch, and for time purposes I'm not gonna go through all of this, but just wanted to first point out that when you are sewing, you want to make sure that you are going through all the layers here. As you see, this is all been sewn together. It's very, very, very important. You must not skip a layer. So just for video purposes, I will give you an example of what I'm talking about when I say a very strong stitch. So you started here, and what we're doing now is called the back stitch. So we're coming in, as if you see, we're on the line of that we outlined, and we're pulling it through, and we're connecting to the stitch that has already been completed, and we're bringing our needle through. And on the back, we are going to find the line again. I don't know if you can see right here, but we're going to find that line again, and we're going to pull it in. Now, as you see, this is pretty big stitching. I'm only doing big stitching for time purposes. When you are actually creating the pad, you want to do very small stitching. So your stitches on your pad are actually going to be smaller. But just for an example, I'll do it one more time. You see we're connecting back to the stitch that we completed. Pull our needle, we go from the back, and we try, I'm left-handed, so if I'm blocking, I want to be able to be as precise as possible. We go back to the stitch. Oh wait, I lost my footing. Right here, that, and go on the line, you see right here, and we just pull it through. So we want to continue that same stitching all across from here. Now, what we want to do is leave, as you are stitching, you want to stitch the pockets, but you want to leave a wing open. So leave one wing open, it doesn't matter what. So essentially you're stitching 3 sides, if that makes any sense. And you're gonna leave this part open, but everything else is gonna get stitched, including your pockets need to be stitched, but your wings, one wing needs to be left open. Next process, we are creating our liner. So we want to get back our template here. This is going to be very essential for this part. And as you see, I'm lining up the template again as close to the edge as possible. But this time we don't need to worry about the wings as much. We're just really creating the liner that's going to go on the pad and the lengthwise. So we want to take our marker, and if you can see what I'm doing right here, I'm just drawing a line here, and drawing here, and going here, All right, and we need, well, this is basically, I guess, the number of liners that you need. It's really to your comfort level. For this demonstration, we are going to do 2, but if you need more or less, that is up to you. So we'll create another one right here, as you see what we did here as well, where we did this and this and this and this. Sorry, I just missed the mark right there, and this. So we have now our 2 liners that we're gonna now cut and use for our pads. Okay, so as you see, we did a quick stitch here for you all around here, and we left this part open. So now it is time to basically flip the pad. And we have to be very gentle, so you want to just take maybe 2 fingers and kind of grab hold to, kind of scrunch the material and grab hold to the material that you're going to be pushing through. And you may want to, if you can, use a marker or pencil, but just something that you could help. And I'm just doing that so you could see that you want to do it very gently, but you want to be able to pull this through very, very gently. You do not want to mess up the beautiful stitching that you've done. So you just continue to pull and pull. You play around with it, finagling the fabric, and taking your fingers around the opening and just helping, pushing it from the inside here very gently. You see me just trying to, very, very, very gentle, just finding this fabric and pulling it out. This may take a little bit of patience. Once you have successfully done it, you are about 95% done. All right, pushing here, and pushing here, and I think I may have to pull this a little bit more over here. But basically, that's really what it is. So, as you see, we just finished sewing the pad, and it's now fully been flipped over. So this is actually how the pad looks before you place the liner. All right, so this liner can be like a felt sheet, something that's really soft, and as you see, stretchable. And if you turned it correctly, the pad, you should see the pockets that are right here. So we're gonna take our felt sheet, we're gonna fold it, and actually we can fold it 3 times, which should make really good comfort level. All right, so getting it into these pockets could be a little tricky. So the trick could be is you fold it right in here, squeeze it in, and once it's in, you can adjust it so then that way it sits comfortably inside and it's not too uncomfortable when you're sitting. And the same can go for this. You fold it here, fold it there, and you just want to play around with it a little bit to make sure that the pad fits comfortably inside and neatly. There we go. And once it is in, good to go, there we go. next step is, as you see, we were able to flip the pad successfully. So now the opening that we had right here, you see, you can just bend it back like this and just stitch it nice and neat right here, so it can just kind of fold nicely in there. Once this is folded, your pad will look like this. You have your 2 pockets here. So now it's ready for you to put in your felt liner. This is a finished product. We have closed this opening by sewing this, and as you see, we added buttons. So what we did was we actually took the pads and actually folded it like this, and with the button we made a mark, we put the button in, and we took some scissors and slit exactly, we pressed where the button was, the fabric, and took scissors and kind of made an opening cut right in here, and then we placed the button, sewed it here, and we actually did a loop stitch. You can see right here, we did a loop stitch just so that, because we cut the fabric with scissors, we wanted to make sure that the fabric didn't continue to tear. So this loop stitch is optional, but it does kind of secure the fabric here and keep the integrity of the fabric. So as you see, we take this button right here and we push it through the hole, and so this is how it looks from the back, and this is how it looks in the front. Before I close the video, I do want to suggest that the button, having this button here is optional. Another device that you could use is Velcro, which may be slightly easier because then you don't have to worry about sewing on the button and cutting the fabric and creating this hole right here. So if you decide to just do Velcro instead, mainly the Velcro the sticky part can just go right here, and then you just add it here and it closes just like this, but yet the finished product is still the same. So, voila! There we go, creating our own pad.